Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Onke and my husband gave me the surname MaKhumalo. Today we are doing a get to know me tag. You guys were so kind to send me questions on Instagram, and today we are finally answering those questions. So without any further delay, let us get into it. The first question is, are you a PK? Love your Mamfundisi TikToks. I'm not a PK, but ndikhulele ecaweni. Every Sunday my mom and my siblings used to go to church, whether you like it or not. So I ended up loving church quite a lot, and that is why I also love listening to gospel music. Okay, and the next question is, how was the first time when you met your husband's family? To be honest with you, I can't remember, and that is because I think I met my in-laws individually at different times. So I do remember meeting, or rather seeing, my mother-in-law for the first time, and we went to pick her up at the airport. She was traveling with a friend of hers, and we went to pick her up at the airport and we dropped her at her house in Kailicha, and that was basically it. Like, we never really spoke on that day. It was just a hi and bye. I never got to introduce myself. So yeah, I think the next time we met, I also didn't have to introduce myself. I think Savile said Kuba because I think she already knew that her son had a girlfriend, Erez. So it was never a formal meeting, if I can put it like that. So I can't remember how I felt, honestly. I can't remember. And another question is, in your household, do you believe in shared responsibilities? Yes, I do. And that is only because I work an 8 to 5. So that means, like everyone knows, if you work an 8 to 5, there are certain responsibilities that you aren't going to be able to fulfill, right? I'm at work for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. So basically I'm at work from Monday to Friday, and I'm only at home some Saturdays and Sundays. So there are certain things at home that I cannot fulfill. There are certain things in Lini that I cannot do because of my job, right? And that is where now my husband comes in and assists me. For instance, with dishes. If I cook, then he will do the dishes because I'm tired. He's also tired. I'm also human, right? And so ndiyasindwa ngama-reef. Safety shoes ziyasinda. So ndingulowo who comes back home tired every day. So my husband would assist me in that regard. Otherwise, I do not want us to forget the main purpose. This is us as couples, right? As married couples. We need not forget God's intent or God's main purpose for creating a woman, and God's main purpose for creating a man in a marriage, right? Umchado, marriage, is an institution of God, right? And we all know that God says, as a husband, you need to be a leader of the household. Nguwe inhloko yekhaya. You need to love your wife. You need to protect her. Those are my husband's roles and his responsibilities. My responsibilities as umfazi wakhe, it is to submit. Submitting means that I respect my husband, I serve my husband. Now, since zikhona ke ngoku izinto that I can't do apha endlini, I need not forget that ekugqibeleni I'm his wife, right? And I need to serve him. Once we equalize responsibilities, or once we equalize roles, automatically submission falls off, right? Those two things do not go hand in hand. equalizing izinto and submission do not go hand in hand at all, right? So yes, ndingumuntu busy, ndiyafana naye, but akufunekanga ndizilibale responsibilities zam and my roles as a wife to my husband, who is the head of this household, right? So that's why I'm saying yes I do and no I don't. Yeah. I love that question, by the way. Another question is, have you both always wanted to have a white wedding? No. No. Both my husband and I always wanted to have a traditional wedding. Always. I think we changed our minds when our families both convinced us into having a white wedding after ilobola, or before. No, before ilobola, after the engagement. Both our families like kind of convinced us to have a white wedding, and we fell for that trap and we ended up having a white wedding and a traditional wedding. Okay, so another question is, do you have a full-time job? What do you do? Another question that is similar to that is, what do you guys do for a living? I see there are quite a lot of questions that are related to my career, what I do for a living, whether I work a full-time job, and what I studied in varsity. Another one similar to that is, what did you study esikolweni? Also, I love you so much. Thank you so much, Asibe. I love you too, my darling. Let me try and find anything else that is similar to that. What did you study at university? What is your career? Another one, what did you study? Are you working in that field? Yeah, there's quite a number of questions related to that, so I'm going to try and answer this question as thorough as possible. So I have 2 qualifications, right? I have a national diploma in horticulture, and I also have a Bachelor of Technology in Project Management. Both these qualifications I obtained at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, otherwise known as CPUT. And I am currently working for an assignee of the Department of Agriculture. And I am working as an inspector. I'm an inspector by occupation. So what I do, or what we do, is when a producer or a farmer wants to export their produce to anywhere in the world, maybe any of the EU countries, to China, to USA, to Australia, anywhere in the world, right? That producer or farmer has to approach the Department of Agriculture and register their farm and register their produce, right? And then the Department of Agriculture then sends us as the assignees to go and inspect the products and determine whether those products are compliant and whether or not they meet the requirements to be exported to that certain country. Now, this is just in a nutshell. So I am basically a perishable product inspector, right? So your perishable products can be either your apples, your pears, it can be citrus fruits such as oranges, limes, lemons, a soft citrus, grapefruit, or grapes, or stone fruits such as nectarines, apricots, and peaches, you know. So I would come in and inspect that fruit and certify that fruit is compliant and it is suitable for export. So I only inspect fruits in South Africa that are destined for export, and not fruit that is imported by South Africa from other countries. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. Another part of this question is, are you working in the field of your study? Yes, I am. Like I said, I studied horticulture. Part of the requirements for the job that I do requires that you have either a national diploma in horticulture, which I have, or a diploma in agriculture, or a diploma in environmental health, environmental science, food science, food technology, or anything that is agriculture related, right? So that is what I do for a living, and that is what I studied. Another question is, what do you do for a living? I've already answered that. My question is, how do you resolve conflict with your in-laws without offending ubutando? I haven't been married long enough to be in any kind of conflict with my in-laws, but I guess I would resolve it the same way I resolve conflict with my husband, and the same way I resolve conflict at work, or resolve conflict with my friends or with my family. But okwangoku andibaweli uba conflict with any of my in-laws, please. Ndiyamthandaza uThixo for loo nto. Okay. Another question is, in this short period of time, what has marriage taught you? Shoo, a lot. I think the main thing that marriage has taught me is to be selfless, right? You put your partner first. In marriage, you don't think only about yourself, right? In marriage, you always need to fulfill your partner's needs and your partner's wants before yours. And when I say needs and wants, I mean needs and wants, okay? I mean needs and wants. You will know what I'm talking about. So, emchadweni awukwazi uba selfish. Selfish ukhiqa ngapha kwefestile once uchade. So that is what umchado has taught me. Even now, like, I actually noticed that I don't like being the last person to finish something up and lean. Sorry. I don't like being the last person to finish something up and lean. If we're running out of milk, right, I would rather ndikushiye obabisi for umyeni wami to have his cereal. Ndingabi ndim ogqibelayo. I don't like laa nto uba umntu afike abe disappointed ba ayikho into ethile, you know, ube sowuzixelela uba you're going to have into ethile. So in a nutshell, basically, marriage has taught me to be selfless, right? Another question is, ungumamni? Ndingumadlamini, uzizi, umachiba, mchemla, usafa, uxoza, uskuni. And I know someone is probably like, huh? Kukumadlamini onjalo apha elifini. Guys, asoze niyigqibe into yodlamini. Soze niyigqibe and asoze nisazi sonke. Yes, ukhona umadlamini, onguzizi, ongumachiba, ongumchemla, ongusafa, onguxoza, onguskuni. And that is me. Another question is, okay, I've been watching your Makoti vlogs and ngine nerves there by cooking and knowing what to do. Pam, I always say that umakoti learns what to do emzini wakhe. Being a Makoti is not cast in stone, right? And akho formula for being umakoti. You learn whatever you need to learn when you get to emzini wakho. I say this because ungakwazi ufika emzini knowing how to make traditional beer, right? Just for an example. Xa ufika phayana, traditional beer yasemzini wakho, it's not the same as traditional beer that is made at home, right? For instance, in my case, traditional beer umqombothi waseSwaziland is not the same as umqombothi that I make ekhaya, or that is made ekhaya, right? Ayifani by texture, ayifani by color. They don't use the same ingredients. Umzekelo umqombothi waseSwaziland ugalela iswekere, umqombothi that we are used to awugalelwa swekere. So imagine if I had known how to make umqombothi, then ndifike phantsi ndizigqatsa uba hayi ndiyakwazi ukwenza umqombothi, ndenza umqombothi engekhoyo. Ukubona? Not to say you can't introduce new things to your in-laws, but ibalulekile into yoyazi ubana kwenziwa njani apha before you try and implement your ways of doing things. So you will learn how to do things, and your husband will help you in learning those things. Your husband will help you because nguye oyaziyo whether or not his mom perhaps eats porridge ekseni, whether his mom wants her porridge to be followed by iti, and things like that, man. So you will learn as you go, and uzobona what you need to do. As a female, you know what to do, right? If it's time for you to cook or it's time for you to prepare lunch, you will know that I need to prepare lunch so that it should be ready at a certain time. You will know that no, I need to clean. So basically you do whatever you do in your household, but now you implement it emzini wakho, right? I hope I've answered that question correctly. So don't be nervous, right? Don't be scared. I was also scared the first time to see Swaziland because right? And I want to know today what it is that I'm going to do tomorrow, right? So the first thing I asked my husband was, does umama have porridge ekseni? My husband said no. Does umama have coffee ekseni? Yes, sometimes she does. So I already knew in the morning I have to wake up and make coffee for umama. After that, then I'll follow and make breakfast for everyone else in the family. What is there to make the breakfast? We have a makanda, we have Russians, we have tomatoes. I can make what is this? What do you call this? Bisto. I can make ibisto, ngaletumata. So you sleep basically knowing that tomorrow this is what we are doing, this is what I'm going to cook, and this is what we have in the fridge or whatever. So yeah, basically you will learn as you go. And also, if you don't know how to do something, do not be scared to say, and yes, I get gastro. No one knows everything emhlabeni. Akekho umuntu owazi yonke into, right? So don't be scared to say andiyazi into ethile, but have a willingness to learn, right? Always show that willingness to learn. Andiyazi into ethile, but ndifuna uyazi ba yenzwa kanjani, cela undibonise. Okay? So I think that's what has helped me and what will help me going forward. Someone asked, how did your parents react when they found out you were living with your husband, Eres? Obviously, my mom didn't know this. Obviously, my mom didn't know this. Ebengenoyazi because besihlala kwi-Reze 1, right? I think 2 floors. My husband stayed on the 2nd floor and I stayed on the 5th floor in the same res, right? So honestly, and we did that because we were spending so much time together and it didn't make sense for him to have his stuff in his bedroom and I have my stuff in my bedroom. So in the morning he has to wake up and go shower in his bedroom, come up again, shuttle. It didn't make sense to us. So we just decided to hlala erumini A1, but in the same res. So there was no way our parents would have found out. Another question, may you do cooking lessons Paku channel or tips something because you? I'll try my best to do that with vlogs. I'll try my best to do that with vlogs. Okay, and would you guys ever consider Gauteng if any opportunity came? Definitely. Cape Town is very expensive, guys. Cape Town is expensive, and when I say expensive, I mean expensive. Properties in Cape Town is nothing compared to properties in Gauteng. Properties here are so ridiculously expensive. Right, so I do believe in Joburg or in Gauteng, it's much cheaper or less pricier than it is in Cape Town. So if a chance does come and we need to relocate to a Joburg, I would definitely pack our bags and go. I don't want to lie. Also, another thing that will benefit us is that Johannesburg is quite close to Swaziland, right? So you guys know, those of you who've watched my Makoti vlogs, Eswatini, that we do have a house at Swaziland. So that house basically gets opened only once or twice a year when we are Eswatini. If we're not there, the house is basically closed the whole time. And so I could write Londole. So if we were to move to Gauteng, that means then we'd be close to Mzinwam, and we would have to, and we would be able to drive every now and then, maybe once a month, to just open our house, and go back to Msebenzini on Sunday. So that is something both my husband and I definitely wouldn't mind doing. Okay, another question. Yo, guys, what did you study? What did you study and where? Okay, so another question is, how many siblings do you have? I have 13 siblings. 13. I've got 2 siblings from my mom's side, and I have 11 siblings from my dad's side. From my dad's side, I am the 4th child, and from my mom's side, I'm the only girl and the 1st child. I've got 2 brothers, my mom, and many sisters and brothers. Oh, okay, another question is your mother-in-law Xhosa? She speaks Xhosa very fluently. Yes, she is. Mazala wam ngumXhosa, ngumamXesibe. My father-in-law is Swati and my mom-in-law ngumXhosa. So hence she speaks isiXhosa fluently. Another question is, okay, I've answered these ones. I'm just trying to find another question that is not related to my career. Yo guys, ayibona nindibuzile mos ngomsebenzi wami. How was it like to plan a wedding, and how was your first week as Makoti? Planning a wedding, guys, is so stressful. And I'm actually planning on doing a video on like a life update video, basically talking about our wedding, what we learned, our mistakes, and what someone else can improve on. Those who are planning on getting married. But planning a wedding is stressful. Okay, when I say stressful, Tina wouldn't even want to watch TV, right? Wouldn't even want the sound of nothing in the house. We just wanted absolute silence and only hear our voices talking. That's how stressful mchado is. And as you get closer to the day, I'm not even gonna lie, because Omni is frustrated, Nomnya Naya is frustrated, and it does put a lot of strain in the marriage or in the relationship, because before we were not married then. So it does put a lot of strain in the relationship. But on the day of the wedding, you're like, it was all worth it. All that stress and all that fighting, it was all worth it, right? So it's very stressful, and anyone who says umchado or planning a wedding is a walk in the park has either never walked in a park or has never been married or planned a wedding, because the stress ending as funny na for ubani, but the stress that you need to have. The stress that you need to have, because otherwise who's going to plan your wedding, right? Even if you do have a wedding planner, stress, stress, just like us. Okay, let me try and find another question. What is the one thing that we do not know about you? One thing you don't know about me. Yo, there's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, my dad. My dad is actually from Eswatini, believe it or not. My dad is Umswat, right? And but I know you're probably wondering, so then why aren't you using your dad's surname? Why are you Gwadiso? Why? That is because my parents were never married, first of all, and we all know that ngesixhosa, ngesintu sesixhosa, when your parents aren't married, umntana wentombi ngowakulontombi, meaning a child of an unmarried woman belongs to the home of the unmarried woman. So basically, I am half Swati and half Xhosa. My dad unfortunately passed away in 2001. My husband and myself always joke about how probably my father-in-law and my dad met up in heaven, because also my father-in-law also passed away in 2001. And they both passed away in the same month, and believe it or not, they both share the same name. Believe it or not, guys, if mna nomyeni wami asiyo match eyenze in heaven, and yes, both our fathers passed away in the same year, 2001. Both of them passed away in September, and both of them share the same name, which is Ujon. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. We always joke around city bana as a chap lihleli phezulu and just lihleli phayana zathi jonga man ndinentombi wathami hayi man jonga nonyana, and ke ngoku asifuna abantwana bahambe betshata nabanye abantu singabaziyo. Mabachata abantwana Swati to Mswati, mabachata abantwana bobabini, yabona, mabachata abantwana, and ke ngoku kufuneka senze indlela yoba badibane. Noba badibane njani, bathomi okay, think sothingane because lo wami useMonti, bathomi lo wami useKapa ma izodena, so bafaka esikolweni esi1 sangene. Let's go it. Sorry guys, my camera overheated, so I had to let it cool down a little bit. Let's try and fix that. Oopsie. Okay, so I think we have just a few more questions to go and we are done. Okay, let's try and see any more of your questions. Uyolanda is asking, what made you fall in love with your partner from day one? I think the fact that my husband is very thoughtful. Sorry, he's very thoughtful, and he's very attentive and caring, right? I remember a time, Erez, I was sick on that night. I was sick and we had just met, right? And I had an operation months before I met him, a few months before I met him. And that night, the operation, guys. Excuse me. The operation, it was so painful. I wanted to scream. And right? It was so cold on that night. I had a big blanket, a 2-ply blanket, but I couldn't use it at that time because it was dirty. Like, it was very dirty. I think I met my husband shortly after September holidays. So we all know, you have to put your stuff in storage. So I put my blanket in storage, and when I came back it had a very funny smell, so I didn't want to use it. So I didn't use it for that reason. So my husband woke up early in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning, because I was so much in pain, I was so cold, and we didn't have a blanket, right? We only had our duvet cover. And he woke up early in the morning, wathatha la ngubo wayihlamba ngezandla neenyawo zakhe, wayihlamba ingubo. Who does that? Who does that, guys? From that day, dathi bhuti wena ngowam forever, awuyi nowhere. And sana jonga andizokuphungula, ndizakubamba ndikuthi andizokuphungula tu, because bayaphika lokusana baba bathi ubani omnye ondenzela loo nto apha elifini, ozajika ndijonga athi yo baby yakula, sothini ke ngoku? Because uvele uthi hayi baby umntu wami yakula shem, sothini ke ngoku? Ina nathi phandathu if uyatsho. Right? So from that day I knew, but I'm not letting this man go. There's no way I'm letting this man go, because he's so caring and he's so intentional in taking care of me. He's so intentional in doing that. And another example, just a few days ago, Glenn Banditi, he's thoughtful. Just a few days ago, my cousin and my brother went to watch a game of cricket. I came back home and my camera was charged. He knew that baby is going to want to vlog. Battery yakhe is probably low. Let me charge a camera yakhe, you know? So that's the kind of person he is, and that is like one of the reasons why I fell in love with him in the first place, and why I still fall in love with him every single day, because we are surprised every day, Shem, and from every single day. Right, let us try and find another question. Yeah. Okay, I've already answered all of these. I think that is basically it. No one asked me ndinangapi. I'm so surprised. No one asked me ndinangapi. Are you guys not interested in knowing how old I am? Okay, ndiyacaca uba ndina 16. Ndiyacaca uba ndingubaba. Inoba ndiyacaca sana uba ndina 16, guys. But I'll tell you when my birthday is. My birthday is on the 30th of December. I just celebrated my birthday a few days ago, and I turned lo minyaka ningakhange niyibuze ke nina mayimingaphi. We will probably do another get to know me video, maybe towards the end of the year, as we get new members of the family. So yeah, if you do have any questions that you probably wanted to ask me today and you couldn't ask me, stay tuned for when I ask you guys to send me questions on Instagram. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, please do so now. I am Onke Kumalo on Instagram, and I am Onke_Gwadiso on TikTok, and on Facebook I am Onke Amabongo Khumalo. But I'll link all my social media platforms on the comment section. Thank you so much for all the support and love that you guys have showed me in the past few months. I truly appreciate it, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you can, please share it with your friends and your family, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so right here. Is it this side or this side? I'm not sure, but please do so. And please leave me a nice comment on the comment section and let me know if you have enjoyed this vlog. And if you have any other questions that you would like to ask me, you can do so on the comment section, and I will definitely attend to your questions. Thank you so much, guys, and ndizonibona on my next video. Bye.